Hey friends, welcome back. Coral from Becoming Vermont asked me about my drip irrigation system, and so I thought I'd make a video over it, how it's set up, how we use it out here, different things that we use to irrigate everything in the garden. Otherwise it'd take me at least an hour a day to water, and that's a lot of time. So definitely important to have irrigation set up. So I'll bring you in and I'll show you this, and then I'll show you how everything is set up out in the garden. Okay, so over here, this is a manifold. Basically gives you four ways to use the water, four-way thingy. Now on here, we have ours. Okay, I'm going to tell you how you could do it if you're only going to do one, and I'll tell you how we have it because this is not our only drip setup. You would want to put your backflow preventer on first. The backflow preventer stops any debris and fertilizer chunks, dirt chunks, anything like that getting into your water supply in your house. You want to make sure you protect your water supply in your house because once it gets into your house, it could go anywhere in your house, not just your kitchen sink or whatever is attached to it. And you'll add a timer if you want. Let me show you. So this one's like a really old version, and you can just, after the backflow printer, connect it and set the timer however you want to, or you can get something a little fancier that has like an app and all that. We use Ratio, and we'll show you it's not here because we have it somewhere else. So backflow preventer, timer, you can add a filter to help remove debris from the system as well. Attach a pressure regulator, 25 psi is recommended, and then an adapter so that way you can attach, we have PVC here, but if you just wanted one simple one, you could use an adapter that attaches to 1/2-inch poly tubing for the irrigation. So that's how you would set that up. Backflow preventer, timer, filter, pressure regulator, adapter, and then attach your tubing at that point. This is 3/4 inch PVC, so that's a 3/4 inch adapter. But however you want to do it will depend on what kind of adapter you decide to get. And then like a beehive is also another timer you can use. We have this attached to the hose because we were watering grass, and it's not a part of this. Now let's take you over to the drip system on the other side. This is just like the water supply, but the actual drip system zoning setup is on the other side where we were standing a few minutes ago. Over here behind the compost, this is our DIY setup, but it's pretty impressive, I think. I think it looks pretty impressive. So you see the PVC here? This was, one of those PVCs came from the water supply that we were just at, and it goes up here. It's at full pressure. There's no pressure regulator over there. Full pressure up to here. Then we connected and made our own faucet for this hose. And this hose makes it easy for me to hand water anything in the garden. You know, when you direct sow seeds and you need to water by hand, or the green stalk water by hand, that's what this hose comes in handy for. And so I can turn it on and off here, and we just leave it on, the water on over there. And then this PVC leads to here. So then this zone, there's 6 zones total, 4 for the garden. These other 2 are for the front. Leads here, no pressure regulator yet. And then here, see the PVC goes down and around, and it shoots all the way over to the side of the house and up to the front side of the house. And that's how we water the front yard. Attach a hose to the PVC over there. And then this is another zone, and that hose leads to the corner there. See that sprinkler popping up? That used to be, before we put the compost bin in, that was a sprinkler that watered the grass. But those sprinklers lead to the front of the house that way. See? So this zone waters the front yard. These 4 are for the garden. So we need full pressure for the hose to go to the front yard on the other side. We need full pressure for the sprinkler heads to pop up. So now the pressure regulator is here, 25 psi, because we don't want these to blow. We don't want the 1/4 inch, the 1/2 inch, or anything to blow in the garden with all the extra pressure. So we have the pressure regulator here, zone 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the garden, and I'll show you how the zones are set up here in a sec when we get out into the garden. And then, so this box here is like a waterproof box for all these. These are Rainbird sprinkler heads. They're not made for mounting like this. They're actually made for in-ground use. But we set it up this way and it's been working great. Let's see, and here's the ratio. So the ratio connects, and all these wires connect to here. We're going to take the cover off and show you what it looks like on the inside, what all these wires connect to, and the ratio, what it connects to, and there's an app. So we can control all 6 zones from the app and tell them when to go off, set schedules and all that, and not have to worry about anything. And you see the 4 tubings here. Those all lead to the garden that way. And I'll tell you more about that in a sec. So I'm just going to show you real quick the PVC. So you see the one going that way. The other one comes back this way. Because all the zones are set up in the same spot on the board on the fence. So that's why the PVC went all the way that way and all the way back this way. So that way it can be connected to the ratio and can be controlled by the app. So you see, so we can't step on it and break it. It's right along the house. And you can see right there, it has stopped. And we have a hose connected to it. But if we decide to have a flower bed back here, or we decide we want to have irrigation set up there for the flowers and stuff, then we can tap into this and use this. We can also, on the other side, we can also use the 1/2-inch tubing over there that goes to the sprinklers for irrigation on the other side of the front yard as well. So here's the wiring block. So all of these cords are connected here, and the ratio connected here. Really fancy, right? Now the reason for this is that, see these wires? That's as long as they get. They did not get long enough to reach here, and even if we put the ratio over here, they still wouldn't all quite reach just right. So we had to do this. This cover is waterproof, and then basically these cords coming off, see how this is spliced? That basically just the rubber's cut off, and these are all connected. This metal is a connector that connects all the wires together basically, since they can't reach each other the way they need to be, and they're fully protected by this, and that's why it's set up this way. Every situation is going to be different, and you set it up however you need to, but this is what we did for ourselves. We used these braces here, brackets, to keep everything upright, and they're not loose, they're just screwed in like that, so there's not pressure. And then to prevent leakage, get you some of these. These are hose clamps. So we have a pressure regulator here, and then all this here. So pretty cool. Hope I explained that well enough, and leave your comments and questions, and I will try to help you if you want to know more about how we have our setup. It's not professional, it's a DIY, but it's been working amazing. So back over here. The way I explained how you could do this, if you just want one zone, simple solution, you can do a lot with one zone, by the way. Then do what I explained, which is different than what you see here, but do what I listed out and explained. You can do that by just buying, like you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever you got, or go online to Rainbird, and they have a kit that has all the things you need to get started, and just buy a kit and get started and do what you can with that, and then add more tubing and stuff, buy more tubing separately as needed. It's a little more complex than what we have over there. Like what we have, is a little more complex over there and here than something you could do, something super simpler and basic if you wanted to, if you had less zones or less needs than we do. But we wanted to be able to have a setup to where front yard, backyard, side yard, garden, everything would be covered by one spot, basically. So after a lot of research and setting up, this is what we have, and this is working great for us. Now let's show you the supplies for the tubing and the rest of the garden. Okay, so let's show you these 4 zones and how they're set up. So we have 4 of them here. 2 of them keep going that way, and then 2 of them veer off here. This one's not buried. The other one you can see a little bit right there. So one goes here and feeds these 2 beds. This is one zone. this grow bag bed and the 2 wooden beds. And yeah. And then this one is another zone, and it feeds or waters, directs water to the 3 metal beds here and these grow bags all here and these containers here. Okay, and then these here are tapped into, well, I don't even remember which one they're tapped into, but there's plenty, they can tap into anything, and there's plenty of water. There's the other 2 zones, which are 1/2-inch tubings, come along this way. One ends over here somewhere, and that one waters the strawberry patch in these containers here, and then this L-shaped bed here. And then the other one just keeps going and follows the fence line all the way, and it ends right over there. And that's the pumpkin patch, so that's the 4th zone. So we have it divided into 4 zones back here. 1, 2 where we're standing, and then a 3rd one, and then those are the 4th ones over there. And that's how we have it set up. And then the 1/4-inch tubing comes off like that to a 1/2-inch, wherever the nearest 1/2-inch is. Okay, I have my drip supplies out here. So for your 1/2-inch tubing, you would buy different things to connect. So you cut it with something like that. Makes it easy. And then if you want to put an elbow in to make a sharp corner, I'll try to curve things if I can without it getting kinked, but it doesn't usually get kinked unless it's super sharp. You can buy elbows. If you need to tee off of it, like you have a straight line and then you need 1/2-inch to also go that way, then you would use a T, elbows. And I have this brand, a T. And this is a barbed coupling. This is for like if you need to make a repair in the drip, like I'm gonna have to over in the raspberries, which I better do before they grow anymore. You basically cut out the damaged part, and then you stick this in both pieces of the tubing, and it keeps it in a straight line. So, the straight one. These here, okay, so if you're ready for your 1/2-inch tubing to end, the easiest way to end it, instead of trying to plug something in it, is one of these. Now for your 1/4-inch, there's several things to connect everything together. You have a barbed coupling, which you can use 2 ways. 1, use this to puncture the 1/2-inch to attach to the 1/2-inch. And 2, use it if you need to connect 2 1/4-inch pieces together. If you're poking into the 1/2-inch, then the 1/4-inch will come off of here. You might find that you need an elbow. Tater, you're being rude. You might need a T for something. You might want it to go off in different directions. Whenever you need to plug the end, you do it differently with the 1/4-inch. Let me show you. I hope it's focusing for you. So the skinny part shoves in, no water gets through, and then there's just the fat piece. Wait, hold on. Or maybe you shove the fat piece in. I don't know, let me look at one real quick. You shove the skinny piece in, the fat piece is right there. Another thing is you want landscape staples to hold all your drip in place and to hold your 1/4-inches down into the ground. I like the long ones the most. Let me see if I can find a short one. You can get them long or short. If you have like a really shallow container and this is too long, then use one of these. Otherwise, I would just get 500 pack of the long ones. And these haven't rusted either. These ones have real bad. So these are much better. I don't know. I don't have the box anymore. I don't know what they are. they're big. Rainbird is a brand, but there's other brands. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I'm not going to say I have a preference to anything, because I've tried several brands and they're all fine. But they come in rolls like this. So this is the no emitter one. This is the one with the 6-inch emitters. I recommend 6-inch emitters. That way you need less tubing for wherever you're putting it. If you have less emitters, then you need more tubing. So it just kind of makes sense to do 6-inch instead of 12-inch or 18-inch or whatever. 1/4-inch tubing with no emitters leading up to the beds. Now I should have made this a little bit longer to about right here and have the first emitter start here, but noobs with drip, I can probably move this over so that does that. But anyways, now this is 1/4-inch with emitters every 6 inches. See the hole? There, and all the way through. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be at least 4 in every section here. This is a grow bag. It's 4 grow bags connected as one. And then some of these are individual grow bags, and they should have around 4 in each bag as well. And that is plenty of water. And then for these ones, I did a little too much drip. They do get awfully soggy. Oh, dandelion seed. And they have way more emitters than necessary. But oh well, I can cut them and shorten them if I need to. Got some helicopters in here. Let's see. This particular bed, so it was the first bed ever. And when we were playing around with drip and irrigation and all that, the first thing we tried was these. And they hook into the 1/2-inch like this, and then the tubing connects to here. And then you can buy different sizes of these to go on for different, like misting or different strains of water coming out. And we have in each corner, and then here and there, and then the corner over here. Same thing in that bed. And we've left it this way. As long as you don't plant anything too tall and thick, the water will reach everywhere it needs to between all the misters. So the onions are good because there's plenty of space between the onion greens, even when they get bigger, to still water. And the garlic has enough space between it too that it won't be a problem. Now these carrots might cause a problem, but I didn't think about that. Oh well. Now since I hung pockets here, you know what? That AC is so loud, I bet you can't hear anything I'm saying. So I hung these pockets here, plugged that into there, and there's 1 drip per each pocket that will staple in place. One more thing to remember is to complete the circuit. And what I mean by that is if the drip started here and did all of that, and then I just ended it here, like I do in the grow bags over there, water would not be able to flow through all of those holes and all of that tubing. And by the time you got to the very end of it, it would not be flowing. It would not be watering the last few, however many. So completing the circuit is to have water flowing from the beginning to the end, or beginning to end. They're the same. So it comes in and out both ways. So there's equal flow on that half and equal flow on that half. And water flows through all the holes. Doing it this way. If you're just doing a few, like a grow bag, something was digging. Just 1/2 inches down there under the mulch, leads up into here. And it's only a few emitters, and then it's plugged right there at the end, capped off. That can flow just fine. It's only a few. Let me show you another example. This one, this bed here, it's a large bed, lots of rows of drip. Where is it? Oh, it's on this side. Here and here. We've completed the circuit. They both lead to the 1/2 inch, which is buried under the mulch. Another one. We have drip tubing that is at this edge of this bed right here. You see the black 1/4-inch no emitters connected to the brown, which has the 6-inch emitters using a 1/4-inch coupling. So here, and this is all one bed here. So the lines flow, boom, 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 and boom, 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 but they're all connected and every single hole drips because flow is coming from both, because this is a lot of drip tubing to have just one water supply to. Okay, another example is this. I wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to be too long either. So here and here, water flows through, and both are connected to the 1/2-inch down there, both ends. Now if you're going to do a large square, like the pumpkin patch over here, there is 1/2-inch there and there and here. The whole perimeter of the big square. And then I have 1/4-inch coming off of the 1/2-inch at both ends. And I can connect in anywhere I want to from the perimeter and connect somewhere else at the perimeter if it's too long. This here is the longest I've gone. So let me show you. This 1/4-inch goes into 1/2-inch tubing right over there. And this 1/4-inch leads to here. So you could have a 1/2-inch do this or a 1/4-inch, just less flow with a 1/4-inch, so keep that in mind. And then I have it weaving through this bag, this container, and this one. And then I have it capped. So this is awfully long, but luckily it still flows. I checked it, and it still flows all the way to the last emitter of this long strand. So that works, but I wouldn't go any longer than that. We also have, this is a smaller bed, but we still open and closed the circuit of water on something this size. Last example here. See the 1/2-inch all the way around, all connected. So water's flowing all around the bed, okay? And then we just tap into it here, here, at the corners. And we have one line along the pockets here. So don't do too much tubing with only one flow in and not another flow in, because by the time you get to the end of the line, the water won't flow anymore. Okay, we have different emitters. If you want a sprayer kind of thing, which this one uses something different, but like the green ones in the wooden bed that I showed you, see if you can see where I'm pointing, like the wooden beds here, was something like this, and the different colors do different things. We have yellow on there, and we have the orange ones here. I don't know what they do, but whenever you're looking into it, it'll tell you in the description whenever you're trying to buy it. You can buy different things for this kind of thing. I think it's called like a micro bubbler. So hopefully it's focused for you. And so it'll spurt out in different ways and hopefully land right in the spot you want it to. These are fine for some things and then not so fine for other things. So there's all different ways. You can use things that spray a mist way out, or kind of like spritz like a fountain in its area, or just run drip tubing. Whatever, just make sure you check on these regularly, because if they get twisted the wrong way, they'll either do too far or they'll get shut off. Scooby actually licked one so much trying to drink from it. They have water inside at all times, but he just loves hose water for some reason. He's sitting right there. Anyways, he licked it to the point to where he had somehow managed to screw, I don't even know which one it was, but screwed it to the point to where it was barely shooting out water, and those plants were not happy, and I didn't know it. So I was like, why are these dying? And figured it out. Because if you're not out here when the drip's going off, then you can't really see. So I have it go off a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the evening. In the morning, so it can just have a cool, fresh start to the day, all the plants, and then in the evening, Once it's mostly shaded back here, like around this time, because you see all the shade now, it would be around this time that I would have it water for a few minutes in the evening, just to replenish and refresh and let the plants have a good chill evening without going into the evening, which is their rest time when it gets dark out, because plants need light and they need dark to be happy. I just want them to be hydrated going into that as well. So that's my thought process. I don't do the whole run drip really heavily every other day. I go twice a day for just a little bit. If you're doing grass, then you would go heavily less often because you want the grass roots to reach. But I'm not worried about the roots of these things. The roots get massive anyways, no big deal. Anyways, that's how I do it. We do have a few things to repair as well. So I'm not gonna do that right now, but in this video next, we're gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it on a different day. So you'll see me in different clothes. But I'll get the GoPro on nice and close for you and show you the repairs that we do on everything and what we use for it. I think I covered everything that I have. If I come across something else, I'll put it in the video, but let's get the drip prepared now. Since my drip is already set up, I can't exactly show you how to set it up, but by showing you how I'm repairing it, it gives you some ideas on how it works. So I need these to be a little bit longer. They're tugging on the brown drip tubing and causing the emitter holes to not line up with the pockets like I need them to. So I need to make them both of the 1/4 inch black non-emitter tubing to be longer. So using a lighter makes it so much easier. It's not recommended. I mean, me personally, I recommend it, but people will say that it leaks, but I haven't really had that problem with excessive leaking by using a lighter. But it softens the plastic and you can actually get the 1/4 inch barbed coupling pieces into the tubing. And that's what all these are. You used 1/4 inch barbed coupling to attach to the 1/2 inch by poking it and to attach your 1/4 inches together, either by a repair or by attaching the black to the brown, like the non-emitter to the emitter kind of tubing. And it's very hard and it's very painful on the thumbs if you do it all without using a lighter. So I can manage to get all this done on the same day. My thumbs are throbbing by the end of it, but I can get it all done because the lighter helps. Now that we have given each of those a little more length, I'm tugging on it a little bit and kind of lifting the brown tubing up and putting the holes exactly where I want them, so that way they'll stay in place and all these pockets will get watered. Right next to that are a couple more containers we moved over here. And I'm showing you. Okay, the first one there is the ender. See, it's a very, right? Okay, hold on. One end was the end piece. The other end was a 1/4 inch barbed coupling, and then it got connected to the black. So the brown's now connected to the black, and now we connected another barbed coupling to the black tubing, and we're using it to the pointy end to poke into the 1/2 inch. So with a lot of effort, that's probably the hardest part, is getting it into the 1/2 inch at the ground. After everything's connected to the 1/2 inch into each other, then you staple it in. Try to space your emitter holes out to where you can get water everywhere. So that one was a new setup. The 1/2 inch was already in place. We put together the pieces and put it in the container. This one here is a repair. So think on that little piece there was already a repair. So something came and chewed the same spot, but on either side of last year's repair. I don't know why that one spot. So we're cutting the broken ends, basically, making them smooth again. I'll lighten them up to soften them, putting in our 1/4 inch barbed couplings, and then connecting them so we have one long strand all connected together, and everything will flow in the bed again. So basically overall, once you have your 1/2 inch connected to your faucet, you then put your 1/2 inch tubing wherever you need it to be accessible. And then you tap into the 1/2 inch tubing however you want to. You can use more 1/2 inch up into your garden beds, or you can tap into it like I do with 1/4 inch and just tap into it wherever you need to. But the important part is to lay down the foundation, which is your 1/2 inch tubing everywhere you need it to be accessible. Now, since these pockets are kind of small, I'm just going to try to have one hole per pocket. So it's just connected to the 1/2 inch that's on top of the wood there. And I'm going to use a staple on each side of a pocket, keep it in place, one hole over each pocket, and that easy. This was already connected from last year, so I'm just putting it in place. I did want this to be a little bit longer on this side, so I could line up the holes over the pockets a little better. One thing here, I'm about to plug it back into the same hole that was already there, just to see if it would work. Usually once you pull something out of the 1/2 inch and try to put it back in, it leaks. It squirts like a pretty strong squirt is how it leaks out. It's not just like a drip out onto the bed or anything. So I think I'll have to fix that, which you would use a goof plug and just plug the hole and make a new one in the 1/2 inch right next to it. So no big deal. Now my peas are 2 established. This one's a micro sprinkler. And so my peas are 2 established to wrap drip around on the inside easily, and so I didn't want to deal with that. So I just grabbed one of these micro sprinklers and stuck it in the middle. And whenever I test the drip, just by turning the water on and seeing, I'll adjust these to make sure they spray into the bag and not too far. So we uncovered the 1/2 inch, which is buried quite a bit. That little blue line in there, that's the blue line on the 1/2 inch tubing. And we're just going to shove it in there with our 1/4 inch coupling. So now it's connected to one of the main lines. The 1/2 inch is considered a main line. Then there's 4 of them, 4 zones. And because I felt like it, I got out another kind. This is a micro bubbler, and I like it better than a micro sprinkler. It's easier to adjust. And we're connecting it to this as well. And that's it. That's the end of this. I hope this was helpful to you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions or I left something out, feel free to leave a comment and ask me. And I hope I explained this well enough for anybody who needed help. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye.